Hey everybody, come on up. It's Porch, Settin Sunday, and I got my blanket because it's a cold Sunday. The sun's shining, it's 50-some degrees, but the wind's blowing, and it's cold. Now, come on up, sit down, get yourself a cup of coffee or some hot chocolate because it's too cold for ice water. Don't forget, it's another day and another chance to sparkle. Keep the sparkle in your eye, sparkle in your heart. It makes you beautiful. Let me show you the mountains. They're not as green as down the road. I don't know why it gets greener down the road than it does up here. You tell me why. We're further south this way, but we've still got some green showing. There's some green over through there. Let me get closer to it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Right there. And right there. And right in there. But there's down the holler. We call it a holler. Let me get back here. Down the holler. See the, you can see all the mountains down there. You wind down the road. Yep, there we go. And there's things that are blooming there, and a lot of greens are peach trees. Look over there, out there, the peach trees are blooming. Blooms all over it. Yes, yes, spring. I'm willing spring to hurry, hurry, hurry and get here before long, because I'm wanting spring so bad, and I know everybody else around the country, weather is crazy this year. So, and I know everybody's going to wonder what lipstick I got on, so let's get that out of the way now. I've got on the Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy in 440 Irresistible. I've got that on all over my lip. And then on the just the center part, and this is Goopy, but it is the Revolution, and it's the Urban Decay Revolution in the color Failbait, F-A-I-L-B-A-I-T, Failbait, and it is Goopy, but I love the color. Look how goopy. See it on the end, how goopy? But so I just put a little back. But I love the color over top of this Irresistible to put right in the center. I'm using my viewfinder. But no makeup today, just some sunscreen. So no makeup, just done my eyes, lipstick, and no makeup. Put a little bit of bronzer and blush. Okay, let's get started. It's Porch Settin Sunday, and it's time to tell a story. I wish I would have asked you all what part of my life you'd like to hear, but I want to tell you a story about when my kids were all little. I know you like to hear that, and don't you like to hear, hang on, my camera is all jacked up here. Don't you like to hear stories, too, about when I was a little girl? So I want to tell you that. I thought I'd let y'all look at the background today there instead of over this way, although there's green over this way. But I've been thinking about when I was a little girl and trying to grab onto every wonderful moment that I had when I was a little girl. And I don't know if I told you all about the story about our landlord. Mom and Dad lived on a street called Cleveland Street in the little town where I grew up, which was called Shiloh in Ohio. And our landlord was named, we called him Pete. And sometimes we called him Uncle Pete. But he never married and never had children. But he was just so nice to all of us kids. I mean, he owned 2 Clydesdale horses. And so I had horrible things happen to me when I was a child, but I also had good times. So I want to start, leave the past in the past, but I want to tell you stories about all the good things that happened to me in my childhood. And Pete was one of the good things. I was always fascinated that it seemed like when he would come to the house to fix something, he always knew how to do everything. Because, see, my dad was not a Mr. Fix-It. He always got someone else to work on anything. The only thing Dad knew how to do that was really good was him and Mom would hang wallpaper. And people used to hire Mom and Dad to hang wallpaper for them. So they were good at that. I remember going to houses and watching Mom and Dad hang wallpaper. And that might be why I can do it, because I watch them so much. So anyway, I got quite good at hanging wallpaper. But anyway, in the winter time, we had this little pond right outside of town, and it was called the Brick Pond. And Pete he had one of the old-timey sleighs that they used back in the day before cars and all that. It was black and had red velvet seats. I mean, it was like a storybook, and we never thought nothing about it. But now that I am grown, I think, and one of my instructors when I was in beauty school said that that's been on her bucket list, to go and ride a sleigh in the wintertime with horses pulling it. Well, I had already got to do that as a little girl several times every winter. Pete would tell us, "I'm coming around tonight and I'll pick you all up." He had the one Clydesdale. He had two Clydesdales and horses, and he always put one Clydesdale pulling the sleigh. And he would come around and pick up us kids, you know, my sisters and me, and go and pick up my uncle, which was about the same age as us, and my brother, and take us all on sleigh rides. And I thought that was wonderful. Now that we probably took advantage of, or took it for granted when we was kids, because that's just something Pete always done for us. But now that I look back at it, not all kids had that kind of experience growing up, and I am thankful now that I had that experience, and I can tell my children about it, and my grandchildren about it, and my great-grandchildren about it. That way they can think that I'm even older. But he also would build a fire down by the brick pond, and he would make sure that the ice was frozen real good so that we could go down there ice skating. And he built a big fire so that we could come off of the ice and get warm and stay with us while we swam, or while we ice skated. It was never fit to swim in, but we could ice skate in it, on it. And we enjoyed that. I never did learn how to ice skate, but I still got out there and busted my butt every winter trying to learn, but never did learn. And I never could roller skate. Went roller skating all the time, but never could roller skate. Now, it was always other people that took us roller skating and paid for it. If Mom had to pay for it, we could forget about it. The only thing Mom done with us is once or twice a month, she would pop a great big brown bag full of popcorn. A great big, one of the big, back years ago, you didn't have plastic grocery bags. You had paper grocery bags. So she would pop one or two of those full of popcorn, put salt and butter in it, and take us to the drive-in movie, her and Dad. And so they would get us into the drive-in movie. But see, back then you didn't pay individually. You paid for your vehicle going in, and how many ever people you had in that vehicle, that's how many people you got in the movie theater. So if you had to pay $5 for the movie, you could put 10 people in the car and go to the movies. So Mom and Dad took all of us kids, and we went to the movies once or twice a month, and that was special. Now, Grandma and Grandpa took us to the inside theater, and we went one time, and the movie, I'll never forget the movie. It was in the 60s, and it was Georgie Girl. How many people remember the movie Georgie Girl? And when they showed I didn't get to see the whole thing because Grandma covered her eyes, but I think they were kissing, and it showed her shoulder or something, and I can't remember now, but Grandma hurried and put her eyes over our faces. She was like this and wouldn't let us see. And promptly after we left. So I never did get to see the whole movie, Georgie Girl. So that's some of my memories. Tell me some of your memories about movies or about winter things that you may have got to do that now that you think of it, maybe you took for granted. I know I took for granted that sled ride, and now that I think back on it, that was a wonderful thing that I got to do. So I'm going to start concentrating on the wonderful things in my childhood, in my adulthood, instead of looking back on the terrible things that happened to me. Because someone said the other day, I can't remember who it was, and if I remember, I'll put it in the down bar below, that, oh, I know who it was. It was Marta, and I'll link her channel below. She said it on Instagram. My eyes are watering, girls. She said it on Instagram that we can't move forward in our life because we're too busy going backwards, remembering the yesterdays. She didn't say it like that, but we're too busy remembering last year to go forward with this year. That's my take on it. So let's not think about last year. Let's move into this year and enjoy every moment that we have and everything that comes along that's positive in our life, and let's enjoy that. So without being with a smile and love in my heart, it's another day and another chance to sparkle. So keep that sparkle in your eye and that sparkle in your heart, because it makes you beautiful. And don't forget, if you having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, or starting out a bad year, there's going to be a rainbow, and oh, what a beautiful rainbow it's going to be. So don't forget, we're making friends here. So subscribe down there. Hit that little bell and go ding, and put those little indentations around it, and throw that thumb up in the air and give me a thumbs up. Tell your friends about me. Tell them to come and watch me. Tell them to come and listen to my stories about yesterdays gone by, but only the good yesterdays. And share me around, because I want to travel, and you're the only way I'm going to get to. So I'll see you Tuesday. Come back so you'll know what's going on in my world and in my closet. Bye.